Today we're going to learn about powers and square roots. So we're going to start by telling you that a power has two parts. So I'm just going to say a to the b power. A is called the base and b is called the exponent. And what this means is that you're multiplying a by itself b times. So let's put in a number. Let's say 5 to the third power. That means 5 times 5 times 5. And you get 125. Of course, you know that you could write this like this. And you could also write it like this. Or parentheses around both of the 5s. Or let's put another 5. Okay. You can use any number you want to be the exponent. Any natural number. We've already talked about natural numbers, and you can use any of them to be the exponent. Anytime the exponent is 0, this is going to be number 2. Whenever the exponent is 0, it will equal 1. This is very important, and this is something that not only 7th graders forget, but adults forget. So that means 6 to the 0 power equals 1. 1,000 to the 0 power equals 1. Negative 5 to the 0 power equals 1. Anything to the 0 power equals 1. So when you take a number and you want to raise it to a power, you're going to use a special key on your calculator. I can't tell you what it is on your calculator because every calculator is a little different. But many times it's a key that looks like that. It's a little caret. So you would press the 5, the caret, and the 3, and that would tell you, and your answer, and then hit equal, and your answer would be 125. Okay, whenever you have, just 1 second while I erase. When you have any number to the second power, we call that squared. And any number to the third power is called cubed. So that's just the right language to use. Like anything else, algebra is a language. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is square roots. The square root is kind of the opposite of the power. What you're doing when you're looking for square root is you're saying, how many times can a number be multiplied by itself to get to that number? What number is that? So the symbol for square root looks like this. If I put a 16 in here, I am asking what number can be multiplied by itself to get 16? And we know that number would be 4. What number can be multiplied by itself to get 25? 5. Now you think about what number can be multiplied by itself to get 36. Good, I'm sure you got it. And you said 6. Now, what happens if I had the square root of 5? That is not going to come out to be a perfect number like these, 4, 5, 6. So what you're going to do is do that on your calculator. And you use the square root button, and then you're going to put these 2 squiggly lines next to your answer, which means approximately. Approximately, and then your answer, because you're going to have to round it. For our purposes, you will always round to the hundredths place. That's Mrs. Gumas' rule. That's not everybody's rule. So Okay. Sometimes you're going to have the square root of a fraction. So let's say I have 16 over 25, and I want to know what the square root of that is. Well, I do the square root of 16, I get 4, and the square root of 25, and I get 5. So it would be 4/5. All right, the last thing for today is how we estimate square roots. And I forget what number we're on right now. I think it might be 5. Estimating square roots. So obviously, if we have the square root of 49, we don't need to estimate. We know it's 7, right? But let's say we had the square root of 18. I don't know what that is coming off my head. I don't know what number I need to multiply by itself to get to 18. It's going to be a decimal number. But I can use this method to estimate what that number will be. What is the closest perfect square below 18? Well, how about the square root of 16? And I get 4. What's the closest perfect square root above 18? 25. And I get 5. So I know that the square root of 18 is somewhere between 4 and 5. Probably a little closer to 4, because 18 is closer to 16. Let's do one more like that. Square root of 42. So what's the closest below? Would be square root of 36, and I get a 6. What's the closest above? Square root of 49, I get 7, so I know it's somewhere between 6 and 7. Almost in the middle, between 6 and 7. Okay.